Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to talk about photography, but in all honesty, today I'm trying to answer a question that I get asked pretty much all the time. It doesn't take too long for anybody who meets me to know that I'm a camera obsessive. Now, the question that I get asked most of the time from beginners or from people who want to get into photography is, what camera do I buy? Now, over the years, I've said, depending on what people want, I've said, you should get a Canon, Nikon, or a Sony. Lately, it's been a very difficult question for me to answer, simply because every time I've recommended a camera, people have gone and bought them. Some have gone other ways. They're very happy with the camera, but what ends up happening is they just leave it at home, and they don't want to go to the trouble of carrying a camera and a lens. So for the majority of the year, majority of the time, which is lying in a cabinet or a cupboard somewhere, and they don't take it out. Now, that's the main reason it's difficult for me to recommend a camera. A lot of people who want to get into photography don't realize how much of a hassle it is, because the quality of the pictures that you get from a DSLR or a mirrorless camera isn't that much different to what you can get on a smartphone nowadays. So the effort that you need to put into differentiating a picture between a DSLR and a smartphone, it doesn't seem like it's worth that much. So unless you're an obsessive and you want to carry like a clunky camera everywhere you go, you don't want to drag it around. Another factor that has made it very difficult for me to recommend photography or to buy a certain type of camera is the fact that over the past couple of years, smartphones have got insanely good with taking pictures. It absolutely blows my mind that a lot of influencers and Instagram profiles, they shoot off their smartphones, and the quality they get is pretty insane. And I myself have been quite amazed at the kind of pictures that the phones that I've bought render. Whenever somebody pays a lot of money to get an expensive camera, they're not going to know how to use it at first. So it's so much easier to just whip your phone out and just snap a picture than taking your expensive clunky camera out and switching it on automatic and taking the picture. It's essentially almost the same. So my recommendation when it comes to buying a camera is, don't buy a camera at first. If you've never used a camera, don't buy a camera. Instead, the money that you saved, go ahead and buy a really good smartphone. Now, a lot of people are not going to agree with me, but hear me out. In the event that you decide or you realize that you're not going to get into photography, you still have a really good phone and you still can take really good pictures out of it, and it's not going to be lying around in a cupboard somewhere getting old, getting dusty. It won't be money that was thrown away. What happens most of the time is, like I said before, people just leave their cameras at home because they're not that obsessed. They like the idea or like thought of carrying a camera and taking pictures, but they're not really willing to carry things around. So don't get an expensive camera, because a lot of people, they want to spend close to like 180,000, 200,000. You can't really get a camera that can significantly outweigh the qualities of the pictures you can get from a smartphone. Now, video is completely different, but for photography, the return on investment is at that price point. It's not at all different to what you can get from a phone. So this is why I think people should not get a DSLR straight away. Now, if you already have gone that route, at the point where okay, you know what, I can put the time into post-production, I can put the time into editing, and I've already learned these things using my pictures from a phone, that's when you should get a DSLR.